I wanted to talk about a few things. If any of you have been writing Markdown on GitHub, you know it's annoying because you either are in GitHub mode or you are in text mode, and you have to go and look at the preview, and then you find a special tool, and then you can write and see at the same time, and such a thing here. So we have been trying to address these things here, but I'll start a different place. I will start with the what we call the document browser. It's simply because the document browser is a document browser and editor and slide shower, so we just call it the document browser, but it's several things. So if I open it, something like this pops up, and I just wanted to show various things it can do. So you can see there are several. I'm still learning the collection of logos, so they might be very wrong. I'm sorry for that. But here is one which picks out the class and package documents for a specific part of the Pharo image. So here I'm only concerned about this one here. So I'm taking out the Microdown document browser package comment, and it sits here so I can show it. Then I can go and say, but I also want to take a look at the document browser. So I can browse around in the document without having to see the top part of the using the classic browser. So I have this thing here. So I can do stuff like that, move around. This one here is an address to GitHub. So I have made a number of special URI schemes, and I am very happy about URI schemes, which is not a passion I share with Stefan, but it's here. And so basically this one here says that go to GitHub, and the GitHub project called Pharo, use branch Pharo 11, give me the doc chapter of this one here, and go to the regex. Okay, and it will then use the GitHub API to give me the tree, and then move down, and once it reaches a document, it goes to the raw parts and give me an HTML. Okay, but basically what I can do is that I can then read the documentation inside the image directly from image documentation stored on GitHub. Okay, the only thing that requires is passing this address. Okay, that's the only thing that is needed, is you can simply go and say, open the browser on this URI, and it will go there, query the GitHub, and then pick out the document and render it. Okay, so you can do stuff like that. Here is a larger document, and if we have a long document, it's annoying to scroll. So I read all the headers, make them into sections, and then produce a tree underneath. So I can move around in the tree. There was this version here, or there were that version there. And that's because I pass it, and then the Microdown tool, I can give it any root. It doesn't have to be the root of the top. I can ask any root to render itself. So I don't render the whole thing. I only render that part there. Okay. So that's reasonably okay. When this thing here opens, it goes to the iceberg part of the image folder and checks if you have, it runs through all the your clone projects and looks if they have a doc folder, and if so, it picks it up and shows it here, so that you can start working on them. So this one here is intended to be a document editor. So if I go here and I say, I have the documentation for Microdown, there is something for the API. There is a little corner down here which says show source, and it does that. And now, if the bottom part here is typing, so I can edit here. So if I write IPI, and then I can re-render. One of the things that I got working the other day is that's cool, but what if you move down here, somewhere down all along here? This, as you can see, I have made the Faro font so big that you guys can see it, but this also means that I can't navigate it because it's too big. But let me see here. There are two facade methods. Okay. Facade. Save. And it pops up over here now, so I can select that part there, and also look that it's actually scrolled the other part there. So scrolling and keeping these two parts in sync is a nightmare, and it doesn't really work, but it's doing a good guess. So it synchronizes the two scroll values, but that's not always correct. And if somebody has a good idea, I'm very, very open, because image on the source code is one line, but the image can be tall, and hence the two things can easily, it's not they can get out of sync, they will get out of sync. So there is that. So the way to handle it is just like I did here, which was my way of cheating, the magic tricks. The magic trick is to always work in the center of the source code editor, because then there is the highest chance for the other one to hit something which is reasonable. But it's really just, and you get used to this. The other option is, if you don't want it like this, you can switch to vertical division. And I can go over here and remove these things here again. No, it's still with one eye though. And so depending on how you like it, you can switch between these two. Okay. So that is it for that part there. So you can edit stuff. What I didn't show was that you can actually also edit this. So if you take a look at this, I was about to make it bigger, but it doesn't work because then it just falls out of that screen there. So here, the rendering of a thing like a class comment or a package comment is based on the template. And the template says, put the class name, put a horizontal line, then go and take the actual class comment, plop it in here, and perhaps do something else. Okay? So this one here, there's a discrepancy between what you see, which is rendered using the template and the class code, and then the source code, which is just doing the traditional old class comment. So if I implement, that's what we do. And then it is there. But if I go to the document, if I go to the document browser, and is this ugly or what? No, OB, doc, oh man, this is huge. So it actually writes there. So all these URIs have a simple method that says, give me the content. And then it also have a method that says, store my content. And if you implement the store part, the editor picks it up and you can store. So the class comments, the package comments, the files, they are storable, and it just works like that. So that's pretty nice. You can obviously not write directly to GitHub, or you cannot write directly to a HTTP thing, but mostly like that, it just works. Whoops, there was this thing here, yeah. So that is what it does at the moment. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hmm? I'm okay again? Yeah. Cool. I think I will close this one here, yeah. There was a few ones. I think Steph showed this one here. So if you, if I go to this class here and take a look at that comment, it includes this part here, which basically is that the way you do an extension of something with these squiggly bracket and exclamation marks is that the first is the name of my extension. And if any of you have ever used pragmas, they're easy to write, but then difficult to find. So I thought that I would build into the documentation what are all the ones here. So it runs through all the subclasses of this thing here, picks out what are the tags that are being used as tag, and then do this thing here. And then one of the things you can do in here is that if you just give the single back quote GitHub thing, it produces a link. So it actually moves directly to the browser. So that is one thing that is kind of cool. Microdown also did something strange with the comments, otherwise it wouldn't be there. So here we had a number of facade methods, and these are the methods you should call. But if you take a look at what's the source code for this, it says input file. What? It says input file, and then it says, the path is a Pharo URI that says, go to class Microdown and execute this method and hope it returns a document. And in this case it does, because it's made by the builder, then it is inserted here. So you have two ways to sort of augment your documentation, either by building the template and then putting the comment in, or asking the comment itself to include pieces of Java of code from Microdown code into the thing here. So you need both for different scenarios. So that's what I wanted to show here. Then there is something in this one also. What was that? Yes. So here I have a link to some Pharo documentation, and that is, we'll go and take a look at what is the source code for this. So it says it's a link to some HTTPS raw GitHub blah 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 welcome documentation MD. Okay. When I click on something that the system recognizes as being a markdown file, it doesn't ask the browser to open things, it asks to open the document browser. So this thing here becomes a link that is opened using the document browser. So you can actually say, I want this opened externally and not inlined. You can also inline documents directly. I didn't do an example of that. How am I doing on time? I'm doing good. You were racing through. Oh boy. So that was. Yeah. No. I'm fine. And then just one thing more. I think there is a Pharo system file browser, and we can go here, and this needs to be Pharo local. Iceberg, Kasper, Pharo, doc, Epica. And if I click that one there, the big Microdown thing came up here, and I can press it, and it goes and reads it from the file system, renders it, and shows it in here. Okay. Ooh, that looks dangerous. Suddenly you'll get a man in your head. No, so these are the kind of things. And there was one thing more, I think. Yes, so here I have some presentation. If you look at the the source code for this thing here. It has a special annotation that says rich text. Header font 1 is chalk duster, header font 2 is Perthurs. You have to specify the sizes, you have to specify other stuff here, and we'll stop doing that. And it has a number of sections. So here, and then I can hit slide mode, and I sort of get into this thing here, where I am able to say, yes, I'm going to give a presentation on this thing here. This is the first thing here. Here's the next slide. And for this particular one here, it understands slightly more than the normal thing here. So we are able to specify an image, and I'm also able to do columns. The image here is scaled to 50%. So if I change the size, and also the two columns sort of redirects. So there's still some things here about how this speaker here fully understand all aspects of the interaction between Spec 2 and the morphic system that could be better. But I think I'm not alone in that one. But there are definitely people who who can help out on these things here. So we are able to do such things. Yes? Any questions? I'll run you down. Okay. Yeah. But with these extensions, there are other extensions that we have been playing around with. One is an extension that just gives the name of the method and then drags it out from the image and presents it as if it was a code block. So that you don't have to worry about whether or not the two pieces of text is the same, because it just goes there. You just write in your URI. And it will pick this thing here out, and then you sort of have it. So you just have to give the name of the methods. So that is nice. So suddenly, as Steph said, you move from having a dead text, but with all these extension possibilities, it ends up being live to some sense. There was a few of you who were at the Faro days earlier this year, and you saw me demonstrate a very old thing I had where documents in the browser would address things in the image, so that you had interaction that way driven around. So one of the things that I have yet to do, but I know, is if you put a teapot in your local browser, you will still be able to mix in GitHub things that actually expands and stuff like that. So that would be cool, but yet to come, so to say. Yeah. Thank you very much.